So moving to the cloud, it does have a significant impact on regulatory compliance. So to understand compliance, organizations have a variety of corporate obligations that come from legislation such as HIPAA, industry-specific regulations such as PCI, contractual obligations, and even internal IT governance. And compliance is really what it boils down to is the awareness of those obligations and adherence to those obligations. And then auditing is making sure that the organization is aware and adhering to those obligations. So really, auditing is proving or disproving compliance. So what that means is in a shared responsibility model, you do not have access to the platform that you're going to audit. And this is where the cloud service provider does pre-certification of their platform, and the organization, the financial organization, does not have access to that platform to do auditing. So the reliance becomes, or there's a significant reliance on third-party assessments of that cloud platform. So the compliance organization or the compliance teams within the organization are or they have to shift the way they do auditing, or their assessors have to shift the way they do auditing. And that is reliance on the third-party assessments versus auditing the framework. So the term that's leveraged to understand it's called compliance inheritance. And compliance inheritance is where the scope of the audit or scope of a compliance assessment is limited to just the application and then the assessments of the cloud service provider. So the application is built upon the cloud service provider's assessed capabilities and services, and then the auditor and the organization is responsible for just implementing security controls within their application. So that the issue there is the compliance inheritance does not mean that an application built upon that compliant framework is automatically compliant, right? So you can still deploy an application that's not compliant on top of that because you didn't implement your own security controls, etc. The change or the difference in compliance assessment is a result of the shared responsibility model, where the cloud service provider is responsible for the platform itself, and third-party assessors audit the set of services in the platform at a certain point in time, and then organizations build on top of that and are responsible for implementing their own security controls. But because they're leveraging the provider, you get compliance inheritance into the application. So the scope of the audit is reduced just to the application. So this is typically not something auditors are used to seeing. In the past, auditors, if you wanted to deploy your application, a PCI application as an example for a financial institution, wanted to deploy it on a data center, that whole data center was in scope of the audit. But public cloud providers will not allow your auditor to come in and look at their entire process, because it is business processes, it is IT infrastructure, it is security controls. And so what the public cloud has brought upon is that security inheritance. So some auditors are not used to that, but those that are well versed in cloud technologies or that have gone through the process before are better equipped to handle those types of audits. When you're going through an external audit, it's important to remember the difference in the public cloud, and you want to find an auditor that has experience auditing systems that are being deployed on cloud service providers, because internal organizations typically do not have the experience, at least new to the cloud, do not have the experience, and they have that they don't have that foundational knowledge to understand compliance inheritance. So that they're going to try and apply their internal security controls against the public cloud, and it's not necessarily, there's an impedance mismatch there. It's not necessarily going to work. So it's important to select an external auditor that does have experience with cloud assessments or applications that are going to run on a public cloud.